Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
Here's the Forex Factory's news announcements, and like I said, there aren't any red folders here, so we're not going to have to spend a lot of time on that this morning. And we'll go to the charts, and you should now see my charts. And right now, there's nothing going on right at the moment. I was looking at this Aussie US. I was actually first pulled it up. It was on a 4-hour chart, and I thought, wow, this looking pretty good for an up move all the way up to there. I thought, wow, that's pretty good. And I realized I was on a 4-hour chart. So for a swing trade, this right now is still positive. It looks like it could go to the upside. There is a little bit of a wedge right here. Again, this is on the higher time. I'm not usually on this time frame, but we'll at least draw this out since I'm here. But there's a nice little wedge right here. We have a nice little higher lows, and do that. As I said, this is on a higher time frame. We go down to a 1-hour chart. You can see that's already inside a zone. I would be looking at it to maybe bounce off the bottom part, but again, usually unless you're into swing trading and willing to hold on to the trade for several days or weeks, I just don't generally do that. That's just my trading personality. The only time I will do a swing trade is if I get into what I call a day trade, and it's just sort of sits there, and as long as it doesn't hit my stop or hit my area where I'm willing to get out, where I need to get out of it, then I'll maybe let it go and then maybe turn it into a swing trade. But then I just move my stops and let it say, okay, work with it that way. But for the most part, my time frame of preference is the 15-minute. I'll look at the 5-minute occasionally. Now here's a 5-minute trade that just popped up on the 5-minute chart. Whenever I look at a 5-minute trade, I'm generally looking at definitely looking at a smaller time frame, smaller take profit zone, smaller risk level. Now this one's actually looking pretty good. It looks like we have on a 5-minute we have nice move down. Nice. Here's a bounce arrow go. Maybe we'll get something on this one. Let me take this trade here. Let's see. Oops. There's 43 pips to the downside of this. This came nice move up, down, bounce. And let's make sure we have, I'm gonna go to the 15-minute chart and just see what it looks like on the 15-minute. Oftentimes you'll get an alert on the 5 before we get the one on the 15, but nice move up. And it looks like we're still in a downtrend on this one. This is British New Zealand, definitely in a downtrend. And we got my heat map over here.
Apparently my FX is showing US news in 15 minutes now.
Your FX book?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, take a, like red folder news?
Yeah, I'm just going by what Gilad put in the chat.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just actually signing into my FX book to have a look.
Okay. Let me see what this is the British New Zealand. In the British New Zealand, we're looking at how strong is New Zealand to the British. Not much difference on the 5-minute. Strong British pound and New Zealand. There's not much, no change there. And we have the British stronger on the 30-minute, and the British is stronger on the 1-hour chart. Higher time frame, it's favoring the British. On the lower time frame, it's kind of a wash. So we'll have to take that into consideration. But I do like the fact we are in a downtrend. Remember, today's Friday. If you have profits for the week, don't give them back today. Just put it in your pocket and have an early weekend. Now we were on the 5 minute. Now this blue line was a down arrow on the 5 minute. So I guess one thing I want to make sure you take notice. Notice the red and the white line. That's your spread. So if you take this thing short, you're going to be getting the price at the red line. If you're going to take it long, you're going to be getting the price at the white line. So all your buys are going to be off the white line. Are going to be your price that you're going to be filled at. If you do a market order, if you're going long, you're going to get the white price, and if you're going short, you're going to get the red price. That's your spread. That's why I say if you're trying to get a target, it's got to go all the way through that spread before you're going to get filled. So just keep that in mind when as you're making your trades. And I do like this with the fact, actually I kind of like this one to the downside. We have a down arrow, strong move up, came back down, retested. This is probably about I'm gonna guess that's probably about a 38% retracement off of this move. So from here to here, being a right 38%, right at the moving average. It's coming back up to retest the zone. And we do have strength on the British, but it's not being totally conclusive. The little heat map doesn't necessarily, all it says is that the British has been strong for the last couple hours. And actually several, pretty much since the overnight, probably since the middle of the night, the British have started getting stronger. And it's, we'll just have to wait and see. Right now, it's not ready to, if you took this on the 5 minute chart, you can see that you're in a strong pullback right now off the 5 minute down arrow. Let's see where other moving averages are on this one. I'm going to load my template. Now I've got a 62 moving average, which I like looking at that as well as a 200. Here's the 200 moving average coming down. So it means it is basically in a downtrend, which is what is indicative of the red zones. We are getting a little bit of a crossover right here. It's right, there's a little consolidation, but right at the bottom of this second candle is where that 5 minute down arrow was. That was the bounce arrow go. Go back to the 5 minute chart, you'll see that. And now we have an up arrow. So right now there's a little bit of a conflict developing. And you see all of our moving averages on the lower time frame are all consolidating right now. You've got the arrow moving average, you've got the 200 moving average, and this orange one is a 62 exponential moving average. That's one of the ones I used to use. I used it a lot when we were doing the Iris wedge alert series. Here's a little flat top right here. And the wedge, I'd like to see it break through the bottom. It is sort of breaking through. If you look and see where, here's the anchor, here's the hit. You can see right here where the two candles change colors. That's pretty much where across that arrow moving average. That was a hit, came back down. Now it's basically retesting this zone right up in here. So if it can come back down and break to the downside, then we maybe have a nice little trade. We have a lot of room to the downside. You could have a relatively short stop, I believe, if you were to take it, even if you got in down here on a buy stop, or a sell stop, excuse me, on a sell stop. You're 15, that'd be 30, here's 40 pips. There's all the way up to this zone. So you have a lot of barrier right in here. So this would be your stop. And then down here would be your target. So if you were to take it off of this bounce off of here, this could be the fact that we had that bounce arrow, but we didn't have it on the 15 minute, we had it on the 5 minute. And you can see where it's not real happy with that. If we can get another arrow down, then I'd say we'd be ready to go. But we have, like from here to here, we have 30 pips, 30 pip stop. This would be a 50, 60 pip target. Being Friday, I don't know if it's going to make that much of a room. This was a big run for the day. And if you look at the British New Zealand, come over here and see what the daily range is. The 76, we're at 76 pips of 131 daily range. Let's see if this is anywhere close to the. Yeah, we're right at, so the daily range is 100 and, what did I say, 100 and, where's my chart here? British New Zealand.
131.
131, thank you. I lost my spot there. So it does have a lot of range. Now it's got a lot of room to the upside. If that's the daily range, it's got a lot of room to the upside and a whole lot of room to the downside still. We're actually right about in the middle of the daily range. What I'd like to do is see where it's at from the higher time frames and see where the range is. Strong move down. This is only a 4-hour chart. So it seems it's definitely in a downtrend. It would have a lot of room to the upside if it starts to retest this downward move on the higher time frames. That could actually give you that 130 pips. Let me see. That's 200 pips there to there. 130 pips will be right around where this down arrow was here from the, what's the date of this one? That's pretty much where the money zone started. That was in the overnight of the 14th. That was 2 days ago. Higher time frame is definitely down. Now there is a lot of room for a pullback back up to these moving averages. So I'm going to stay out of that one for right now. There isn't enough strength between the two pairs to give me any clear direction which way it's going to go. British CAD, let's take a look at that one. Let me put this back on a 15-minute chart. And we have an alert on the British CAD. And let's see, that was on a 15-minute. I don't know why it didn't show up here. And let's get our moving averages up here. Load. And you can see that it is in a, it's kind of going sideways right now. A lot of times you can gauge too what direction it is by the 200 moving average. Is it pointing up? Is it pointing down? Is it going sideways? Is there some consolidation in here? Or you can also look and just scroll out to see how many red and green zones you have, which is part of the basic method. You can see this one's pretty much 2, 4. Is basically it's in a downtrend, but I'd say it's going more sideways right now. But we'll give it a down arrow over here. Scroll back out. That would be somewhat contra trend, but right now I'm looking at it's range bound, and it's right in the middle. If you look in the distance between here and here, you see it's right in the middle, and you're getting some crossovers of the moving averages, which means, and the British CAD over here, take a look and see what the British, Canadian, good spread there. Nice spread there. The Canadian dollar is right in the middle of middle 3. The British is still strong, the strongest one. So we still want to be trading in the direction of the British pound, but it doesn't have a lot of spread. So this tells me it's going sideways. This tells me it's kind of going sideways. And again, no real clear direction. I would favor the pound. I would favor this to the upside, which is where the arrow is. Put an arrow there. Take a look at it. Go to the lower time frame and see if there's anything conclusive with that. We have a nice zone right up in front of us. So again, I wouldn't want to be taking. It'd have to get through this zone in order to make up. And I don't know. We have what kind of pip value we have here from the entry. That's 43 pips. We have to get through this zone. That would still give us 28 pips. So, and this zone is 16 pips deep. Maybe I'll get 5 pips out of it. Let's see what the 1 minute looks like. I don't like the fact it's right in the middle of this zone. You have to get all the way through this zone in order to get the my 15 pip target or my 5 pip target, even if I went for 5 pips. And yeah, I just don't like it. So we'll pass on that one as well. It's too close to the zone. We may keep an eye on it. And we have a British. Let's see, this was right, the Euro British. See what that one looks like. Put that on a 15-minute. Down arrow. This was on a 15-minute. This was a few minutes ago. Mark the chart. See where my moving averages are. Every time you take the chart, it'll hold these templates until you X out of the chart. Then you have to reload the template again. And right now it's bouncing right off the 200 moving average. It had a down arrow. That was good. And we are in 15-minute chart. Let's see what kind of range where we're at here. In an uptrend. You see the moving average, the 200 moving average is in an uptrend. And so we scroll back out. It's still kind of flattening out though right now. It has a strong move down overnight. There is room to the downside. I'd like to see it break through this moving average and see where the wedge is on this. This is a little bit of like a head and shoulders, strong move up, strong move down. Didn't spend a lot of time up here. And so this is a little bit of a head and shoulders. This is what I call a head and shoulders pattern. Your shoulder left, shoulder right. Euro British. Again, they're all both pretty close together. Not a lot of spread on it. Don't really know. The fact is bouncing off the 200. I'd give pause to that one as well. You can see where a lot of the moves really happen at overnight.
Excuse me, Al.
Yes.
Are you still working on this one?
I think I'm pretty much done with this one. What's the next question?
Okay. Sandy has a question.
Yes.
In regard to gold.
Okay, let's see. I said I was on Nate's call. I'm getting a large number of stop losses getting hit. And then on some gold and want to protect against getting back into the drawdown. Puzzle over to what to set a trailing stop. I don't use trailing stops, so you're kind of on your own about that one.
Especially not with gold.
Yeah, gold is a real volatile. Gold, your indexes, your cryptos, they're all really rather volatile. I would say, as I don't trade gold in the foreign exchange market on any of this stuff. Let's take a look and see what gold is doing. I think I have it up on this one.
My advice to you, Sandy, would be to, if you're in profit, take it. Because gold, you never know when it's going to flip and go the other way, especially on a 1-minute chart.
I don't know why this one did. I tried setting this up last night. I thought maybe it would work its way through, but it's not giving me anything on that. Let me see about here. Let me see if I can get gold on this chart, see if it makes a difference. I got gold on this pair. Do I have gold on this?
Maybe there weren't any alerts out.
Well, it should still be on my. It should still be on my platform here. This is the. Okay, we're gonna have to figure out something here. Let me move this over here.
Yeah, and she was on the 15, but then
I should be able to.
Gold's on the other one, Al. Your gold is on the other one.
Yeah, but it's not doing anything.
Oh, it's not populating.
Yeah, none of those are propagating now, and I'm kind of wondering why that is. So let me just put it. But now I got it on own pairs. See, that's interesting. Is that I'm putting it on this dashboard, but it's not. I'm gonna have to figure out. Well, I'm gonna have to. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to take this one off. Since this one's not really doing anything, I'm just going to take that one off. Move this over here and see if I can get gold on this one. Properties. Oh.
Yeah, you just have to add it there.
Well, no, I have it. I have it. Oh, I thought I had it in there.
No.
No, this is the. I know what we need to do here. I'm just going to go with all 28 pairs. That's what we got. Let's go with my own. That's what I got to do. Own pair list. Let's do it this way. Own pairs. Didn't mean to be doing this morning, but let's try this. XAU-USD. I didn't want to do that either. For some reason, it's taken on the other. It's taken on the other one. I'll have to work on that later on. Right now, I can't find gold on here. I guess I could just pull up the chart.
Yeah, just go to trading view maybe.
I should try and that's the chart window. And go with my template. See if I load my template up and see if that would if it'll load up that way. Do it the old-fashioned way. There it is. Okay, we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. I'm kind of happy to see gold going up a little bit. 1 hour chart. So the question about the gold was, are you long or short? Sandy, are you long or short on this? Let me see. I'm at 1769 and see at the red zone.
She's on a buy.
On a buy. And you're on the 1 minute chart. Gold is one of those.
She's on the 15. She was on the 15. You're in the 1 hour. And then she moved down to the 1 to just check it out.
Okay, let's go to the 15-minute chart here. Actually, let me go to 1 hour, see where the zone is. Zone's up here. It is definitely, it seems like it's in an upward trend a little bit. It's sort of like it did a lot of basing. Now it seems like it broke out of this and looks to me like it's heading to the upside. If I were to do a trailing stop, which I don't generally do, I just put my stop and I either get hit or I get out before. I don't usually trail it because of the volatility. But if I were to be trailing this, I would probably have it underneath the, if you keep it under the, I kind of like the 62 exponential moving average for a trend following device, so to speak. So right now you have all your moving averages are in the correct direction. If I were to be trailing this thing, I'd probably keep my stop somewhere under this moving average. I'd probably find the lowest pivot before the uptrend, like this one right here. And if you really wanted to trail it, I'd probably keep it like, I would probably use this little pivot back. This was the last pullback before it took off again. This is where it's starting to launch again. If you wanted to trail it, you could use either the purple moving average, or you could use the, this is the 62 right there. I kind of like that one. It keeps you a little bit out of harm's way. It keeps you on the other side as it builds new zones above you. And just keep trailing it that way, just sort of let it ride until it gets to your target. Try and get yourself into profit as soon as possible, but give yourself lots of room to do so. And if you're on I would probably be doing it on a 15-minute chart, so which means you could probably, I would probably keep it under I just let it keep building zones. It was like if you were down here, like this part, I'd have my stop here, comes up, keep it, move it up to this area. Keep a zone. I like to keep moving these two barriers. I like to keep a zone and also a moving average that just seems to be following. You can see it's coming back to the 62 moving average. I would try and keep enough distance below that so that it doesn't just break through and just take you out. Trailing stops always give a lot more room than normal. But that's probably the way I would do it. If you're looking at a trailing stop, that's probably the way I would do it, although I don't generally do that. I don't know if that answers your question. And here's the euro yen. Something
Yes,
else
thank you.
something else I want to bring to everybody's attention, and you may or may not notice, I mentioned it before in one of the earlier sessions, as things are kind of a little quiet today, is that there's a thing, if you live in the United States, there's a little thing called F-bar. And basically, the F-bar report is due April 15th, although they give you till October to get it before they say it's due on the April 15th of like yesterday. It's due yesterday for the year 2020. And basically what they're asking for is if you live in the United States and you have a foreign bank account, if any one of your total of your accounts are over $10,000 combined over the year, you're required to file an F-bar report. Now, it's not a big deal. It's just a matter, they just want to know that you have the accounts. There's no tax implications on it. It's a relatively easy thing to do, but it can be rather significant if you don't do it. And I can show you the links as things are a little bit quiet right now. I'll put the link in the chat box so that you can listen to the video. It's not a hard thing to do. It's not a big deal to do. But if you have a foreign bank account and they catch you with a bunch of money, the penalties can be rather severe. Now, let me see if I can find out where I got this. And I'll put the link in there you go. Here's a video link. Copy. I'm going to put it in the chat box for all participants. This is this is a YouTube video. Make sure I think I got this is the right one. There's the first one, and then there's the form. So I'm not giving tax advice or anything like that. I just know that this is a thing that if you are in the U.S. and you have foreign accounts, they kind of want to. It's more of it's because they want to know if there's any money laundering going on. Is the main reason for it, I think, at least at this point. Make sure I get the right one here. It's pretty self-explanatory. I put a couple links in here for you guys can check it out. That's another one, and there's one more here. The video is really good. He kind of goes through a step by step. He actually shows you as he's filing his report. And what I do is follow the video and then just pull up the. Here's the one. Takes about 10 minutes to do it. There you go. There's three different, one video, and then the last link, the finsend.gov. That's the where you can pull up the report, file it online, and as it takes about 10 minutes, and then you're good to go. Enough of that. Let's see. Let's go back to the charts. There's a 30-minute New Zealand USD. Yeah, so you see a lot of these things are coming up right up into the zone. There's a 30-minute. Let's go and we'll mark it. And we'll drop down to another time frame to see if we can make anything out of it or not. It's like it's coming right up, pulling back a little bit. It's pretty much trading inside this little range here. I don't know. Let's see. The range on this one is 18 pips. So you have a 20 pip range, almost in the 20 pip range. Not a real clear direction. We had a bounce, came back out, bounced, came up. Moving averages are all kind of tight right there. Actually, well, let me get the other moving averages on here. Mode. They are going in the upper, everything's in the right order. We have the fastest, middle, and then the slowest. The 200 is always, it's going to be the slowest on my charts. We have 3 moving averages. They are going in the upper direction, so there is more of an upward bias. And the heat map is saying that we should be doing something there. Where to go? Have to reload it.
So according to my FX book, we've got some high impact US news in 24 minutes.
Which pair?
What is the news?
Well, no, what currency?
US.
Okay. I'll have to get for some reason I lost my news on my FX book again. That's something I'll probably have to get myself find again. Let's see here on the 5 minute. I should put this back one up. I think I had this thing on a monthly before, so I don't think it's going to make any difference, but at least it kind of keeps it. We had a 30-minute buy arrow right at this point, and right now it's pointing back to the moving averages, pulling back into the zone. And New Zealand USD. Dollar's still weak. New Zealand's not that much stronger. Oh, again, I'm going to pass on this. And see how much room from the line, from the entry to, see, that's only 4 pips up to the zone and got rejected. There's not enough room to take it. There was an up arrow, and looks like we are in a, let's go back to the 15-minute chart and see what our zones are. Yeah, it's in an upward uptrend. Up arrow, so we're in an uptrend right here. Here's where the arrow was. Now that was on the 30-minute chart, which is where the alert came in. On a 5-minute, we have another zone right up above it. So it is building some new zones. But again, you only have 5 pips before it got rejected off of this top zone. $15-minute chart. You can see where it came down, hit, came down, hit. So it got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times it entered into the zone and got rejected. And so you could just about bet that there's going to be a little bit of you'll take a little bit of heat trying to get through this level right there. And from the 30-minute buy signal to that, at best, that area, you're probably looking at, we're looking at 8 pips. You've got a spread, New Zealand USD. You have a 1.3 spread, so it's going to take you about almost 3 pips in and out. With 8 pips, you could just barely get your target. Even if you went for 5 pips, you'd be barely getting your target before it's going to probably get rejected again. Just not enough room, so we'll pass on that one. I'm just going to take this one off. Euro yen. Now go back to the 15-minute chart on this one. So we had an up arrow right into the zone, came back, rejected it. We do have a little bit of a trend line going on with this. Here's the origin of the move. There's a little bit of a basing. Here was the breakout. I'm going to take it from this candle to this little pullback, draw my line. And if it can break that, see, even if it breaks that, it's going to break it right into another zone. So right now, this stuff is fairly range bound right now. Nothing there. I'll take that one off. Euro yen, Euro British. Put this back on a 15-minute chart. We're just going through the charts right now, just looking to see if we can find something. The British is still stronger to the, now British is taking strength to the US. Let's take the British USD. Here, find the chart. So with this one, we would trade into the strength of the British. Looks like it may have broken through his, now let's see, where was the, get my moving averages on here. Lots of consolidation right here. Here is the breakout. So here's the bounce, arrow, go. Have a double arrow. 15-minute. I don't know though. It's probably getting a little late in the game on this one. There's a zone. Here's a target. 16. That's 15 pips on the 15-minute chart. Let's go down to a 5-minute. See if we can find a. Let me mark my zone here where we got the arrow. Got the arrow right there. Let's go to a 5-minute chart and see if there's anything we can do with it. Nothing on the 5-minute. Let's see where the target would be. 15-minute target is right in this zone. Go back to the 5-minute. I would probably be okay with a buy stop. Let's take a look at a 1-minute chart here. Here's a nice little pullback. You have the strength of the British. When was that, Eva? When was the announcement on that?
It's
8:30?
coming up at 8:30. Yes.
8:30, so another 15 minutes.
Yeah.
This could be a pre-market move here. I like the strength of the British right now to the US dollar, so I'm going to go ahead and put a buy stop in on this. Trading. And we're going to make it right about 38.14. If it comes up, it'll trigger our trade to go long, and then we're going to be looking for 5 pips. And take profit would be if we got in at the price is set for 15, so we're looking for 7. We're going to go for till 38.22. Take profit. And that still gives us below this target right here. So we're not in this trade. We're not in it yet. If we get another little punch, right now this was a strong move up. It's spacing a little bit. It pulled back. We're not in the trade, but all we gotta do is get one nice little push, a 5 pip or 7 pip push, and we'll be right up into our target. Keep an eye on this one. That announcement may just be enough to drive it right on up into it, get us in and get us out all with one clean swoop.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, that would. I had a nice little pullback here. We have a nice little. We had the breakout. Let me see here. Expand this out a little bit. You can see where it came back down. It broke through the moving averages. It started getting a crossover, came back, retested. And so this would be the move up, retest. This could almost be like a Fibonacci move here. If you can go from, let's take it from here to up here. There's a 23% to 38% retracement. Came back down, and now the target on this one would be 38 to 50. And you can see by the time, if it gets up to this 38 line, it'll already get me out of this trade. I would probably prefer to take the Fibonacci from here myself. I like this one. Move up, 38% retracement, came back to moving averages. Here's the first, if it came back to retouch this at the 38%, your stop would have been down below. First target would be right here. Second target would be the 38. By the time I get into this trade, it should be just about up into the 50%, 38, 50% range. And so it hasn't triggered our trade yet. It's been kind of slow on the 15-minute charts for trades here lately. Been a lot of 5-minute. We get a lot of 5-minute. Of course, that would make sense. It's higher time frame or lower time frame. We're getting 30-minute, not 15. Let's see. I'm going to keep an eye on the British. I'm going to take this gold off since we're not doing that one right now. Euro British. That's right into the zone. We'll keep that one on. We'll keep an eye on that one. This is where we had a little bit of a wedge. There did break out of it. Coming up into the 200 moving average. That one's done.
Do you have a German trade going, Al, or is the pip calculator?
You know, no, I do not have a German trade that I know of, and it's certainly not on here. And yeah, for some reason the pip calculator was showing it. Actually, it had that yesterday too.
Yeah, it was doing that a while ago. Remember, it was showing old trades. It just didn't take them off for some reason.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether, yeah, I saw that too, and I thought, why is that on there?
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
see
that
if
may
it
be
changes. If it
happening.
changes from 42 to something else, then maybe I do have. I don't know where it would be if it is. This is the
On a live
platform that
account?
I'm trading on, so it should show up on there if it was. Oh, let's see, 8:30. So another 10 minutes before we get that announcement. And I'm still favoring the British to the upside.
Have you looked at our friend NASDAQ lately?
Uh,
My friend, anyway, not
well,
yours.
well, not on this. Ever since CB helped me make this new reset my chart, I've having problems with it. Right now, see the British and US. So I'm looking at British. And right now, the US dollar is just getting a little bit stronger on this chart, but I look at this as being a pullback, not a reversal.
Yeah, it seems to be in an uptrend right now.
Yeah, but it's like I said, it's in an uptrend, but with this little move down here, the dollar's just gotten a little bit stronger, but it's only on the 5-minute or 1-minute chart where if we get this thing to start flipping back over, then we may be into that trade.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a nice little trend going on up here. So actually, I mean, this thing could very easily retest this trend line here. Strong pullback, made new high. Go back right now. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. If it comes back down, test the moving averages in this little zone right in here. That would be a nice little entry to go along if everything else stays strong. I like getting in on the pullbacks just because one, it's gives you more range to your target, plus gives you less range to your stop. And like in this case, I would have my stop down below, probably right in between this 5061 area, about 137.70. Modify stop price of 137.70. See where that's going to bring us. I say the theory is if the retracement comes down to the 38, you'd put 5 pips below the next zone. Next zone's at 50, and you just go 5 pips below that. So the zone is right at 37.71, so 37.66-ish. That's about where, so if I get into this trade, I would want my stop down there. But that would be on the theory that you're being pulled back all the way down to this area. Now, what we could do is we can move this up to here and see where the pullback is and see where we get the pivot, and then we can maybe move this stop up a little bit closer, which would probably make a lot more sense, actually.
Mm.
Right now from this move up, it's pulled back about 23%. So this still has some room to the upside. We'll wait and see. We'll hang on to this one until we see what the announcement is and see what the price looks like when that happens. Are there any questions, comments, anything that's on your minds? This is open line Friday here, so feel free to ask questions. Prefer trading related, but platform questions, technicals, why we do things the way we do. Feel free to ask the question.
We promise we don't bite.
Yeah.
Dwayne is asking, how do I set up the ending order? I'm not sure what that means, Dwayne. Oh, pending order.
Oh, pending
Okay.
order. The pending order. Yeah, you can just, if you just right click on your chart and you see with trading, you could basically a lot of times, usually what I'll do is I'll just use like a new order, click on the new order button, and you'll see where it says type market execution or pending. So you go with the pending order, and then you either do it depends what type, like a buy limit would be, let's say the price is pulling back and you want to get in down here, that would be a buy limit. So you want to get buy at, let's say this 38.2 retracement line. You put that value there, that would be a buy limit. If you want to do a buy stop, which is what I have set in here, is you want the price to be below where you want to get in. The buy stop would be it comes up from below, comes up, gets you in the trade and gets you into your target. So that would be, so a buy limit. So it would just say buy limit at, this will give you what the current price is, then just set your price. And then you can come up here, set your volume, what size amount, make sure you have the right pair on. And then they just stop your target, place the order. And that's how you do that. Still showing some strength on the lowest, on the 1 minute, 5 minute time frame. Is still showing that the dollar is still stronger to the CAD. But again, I'm just looking at this as being a pullback. As soon as that flips back over, we may be in for a nice little trade here.
Excuse me, Al.
Yes.
Pepper has a question. Do you notice any differences between trading the morning sessions and the Asian sessions with the currencies?
I think that the Asian sessions, I don't usually trade the Asian sessions because I just don't. Usually it's because I'm trying to sleep because I'm getting up in the morning. I think the Asian sessions may be a little bit better trading, at least for this technique and this alert system. I think it seems like it gets better trades during the London session than it does. But there are trades that can be taken during the New York session that still work out. I think overall, I think the London session is probably a little bit better. That's why Nate chooses that time to be trading. He'll catch these 100-pip moves with the money zone breakouts and things, which is really what this software was designed for. It's just since he released it to Auvoria Prime that it's been tweaked, I guess you could say, for the New York session, for indexes, for gold. And before it's just, if you look and see on the expert, when you pull up the expert advisor, you're going to see where he has one of the little drop downs here, is where he has the core 7 pairs. Well, the core 7 pairs are basically a lot of the British pairs, or core 14. It wasn't until he came to Auvoria Prime where he started trading 28 pairs and all these other different pairs. So I say for the most part, the software was developed for the London session. So I'd have to say, to answer that question, I think it would give you a little bit better selection and a little bit better performance with that. If you live over in Europe, you're golden. If you live in the U.S., it's the middle of the night for us.
And then Al, Sandy would like you to please repeat the buy limit is the same as a buy stop.
Okay, a buy limit is you want with a buy limit, you want the price. Again, draw some arrows here. If you have a buy limit, you want the price to be down here. You want the price to come to you, and you're limited you say, I want to get it in when it's right here. That's be a buy limit. Price comes down to you, gets you into the trade, and you take off. A buy stop is what I have up here, where the price is below where the price where you want to get in. In other words, basically where the buy stop is, you're looking at having you think is going up, you want to, and you're looking for more of a breakout type of a trade where you want to have you want to let it get done with this pullback and then come up and then get you in. This is more of a target shoot. This is more of a momentum move to the upside. So a buy stop would be that the price is below where you want to get in right here. So this is a buy stop, a buy limit. The price comes down to your entry level, gets you in at a limit price. This one gets you in, and the buy stop is just the opposite, where it's coming up from below to the upside. A sell stop would be the reverse. The sell stop would be if you had a sell limit. See down arrow. If you're looking at a sell limit, the sell limit would say if the price gets up to this area, I want to get into trade because I expect to go short. A sell stop would be the same thing in reverse, where down arrow, where is the price is above where you want to get in. I want to get in down here, and I want the price to come through and keep on going. Now, as you're looking at more, you're expecting it's in an uptrend. You don't know how deep it's going to go. If I entered this trade up here, I'd be in drawdown all the way here. Well, I don't want to be sitting in the drawdown because I'm looking for it to pull back and then come back up. Now, I could move this price down a little bit lower to maybe get me in a little bit better price, but this thing could just reverse and keep on going. It could come back up and retest this area. This is probably a safer bet down here, whereas you're in an uptrend, you have a pullback, you get in off a bounce of a Fibonacci zone or a moving average or a trend line. This is probably your safer bet as a buy limit, but you don't know if it's going to get down this far, this low. This way you can do one of each. You could have a buy stop, you could have a buy limit. Say if it pulls back to this level, I'm in. If it doesn't pull back to this level and keeps on going, I'm in up here. But if I get with this buy limit, I'm going to want to have my stop sound probably a little bit. If I get into this trade, I'm probably going to want to have my stop somewhere down below this last pivot, because if it gets in, I don't want to have to come all the way back down below here at this point for my stop. I'm trying to, because this basically, here's momentum move up, here's the correction move, and then you're looking for another momentum move. Hopefully that answers your question. That's the one reason why I kind of like when you start seeing, here's the momentum move. There's momentum, here's the correction. Long straight can. This is straight up, moves up, finds some sellers, comes back down, pulls back, coming back to get its buddies, and then trying to go up a little bit higher. This is where it's starting to trend. You have a nice move up, a high, a pullback correction, another move up, high, pullback correction. And you do that, if you can find that maybe one, maybe two times, and then after that, I would not be doing it anymore. Here's a strong move up, correction, stronger move up, correction. Strong move up. I mean, it's getting to the point now where it may start, finding its major sellers up here to bring it back down. But if this thing doesn't turn around very much, I'll just pull this trade too. And
Well, the news has come and gone, and not a whole lot happened. So.
yeah, not a lot has happened. And where's the British US? And the British is still strong. And not a lot of activity on this. I like to see the dollar start weakening a little bit. It looks like it's starting to weaken a little bit. And actually, if it pulled back, let's see where it is from where the entry is here. And actually, if it comes back down right now, I could, the fact that it's starting to, that's a nice little pullback. One problem with this trade right now is by the time it gets up to, this is a strong move up. This is a fairly strong move down. By the time it gets up, it gets me in. It's got to go up even higher to get me out into profit. I'm going to pull this trade. I don't really like the way it's looking right now. It's starting to base a little bit here. I'd be a lot happier having a buy limit down here off of this trend line. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to, we'll just show you how to make, again, how to do this. Trade and go right click on anywhere on the chart, go to trading, go to new order, and we're going to go to the market. We're going to change this to a pending order. And I'm going to have a buy limit. And I'll put my price in. I'm going to say about 37.80. I'll just say 37.89, 37.89 by limit. That means if it comes all the way back towards this trend line, I'm going to be in. And I can put my stop. 89 so make it 37. I'll just say 49. 37, stop at 40, 49. Target 37. I'll just make the target of, let's see, 89, 20, 38.09. And then we can make an adjustment. Place the trade. So right now I'm saying is if this comes back to my trend line, I'm in. If it doesn't get back that way, if it doesn't pull back that far, I'm not going to be in the trade. And I'll put my target, say, right up here at the top of the top of these little wicks right here. Put my target right there. And then I can say now my stop is going to be at the bottom of, I can move my stop up here to tighten that up a little bit. And then what I'm saying is that if it breaks all the way back down, if it gets me in here and it breaks this pivot low right here, then I'm out of this trade. Until then, I'm just going to let it do what it does. Right now, I'm not in anything. If it comes back down to my trend line, test the trend line, I'm in the trade. If it breaks the trend line, breaks, comes back up, then I may want to get out of it and look at seeing for it to go short. Right now, this is just a pending order, just sitting here waiting for it to come to me and then trying to get up to my target. Assuming that, and if it comes back to me and it starts showing that the British pound or the dollar is starting to get stronger to the British pound, I may want to pull that trade. But we'll keep an eye on it. Let's see how much it was. This should be, this is probably a 40. I just moved the stop up so I could take a little bit less of a And that's my 15 pip. Remember, like a lot of times I say I like having a 7 pip targets, 14 pip stop. So if it comes down to this level, I can do that, my pip calculator. Let's see where to go. Let me get my other one. Oh, this will work. I need to pull up another one here. There we go. And take my pip calculator. We're on the British US. And so we're going to, let's see, there we go. We're on the British US pair. And we're on our account is $3,700. So I got 3,700. I'm going to risk 2%. That's going to be risking $96. Oh, excuse me. I got to put 15 pip stop. So I'm risking $74. My lot size can be a 4.9. I think I've got this thing default pretty much at a 0.5. That's close enough. And so if I go for 7 pips, if I get into the trade at 37.89, 7 pips would be 37.96. So take profit at 37.96. Modify that. I already have my stop set. So if I got into the trade down here, I'd be out of the trade before even getting, that's my 7 pip range here. But there's no reason not to try and go for a little bit more if you're sitting here watching it. I feel a lot better about doing a buy limit on this. I'd rather see it pull back because this was a reasonable reject. That's a 15 pip rejection right here. Yeah, pretty slow morning this morning. Not a lot of 15-minute alerts. A few 5-minute. Let's go with a.
It's funny
Let's
that you
see.
get the 5s and the 30s and the 1 hours, but there's no 15s coming
Yeah,
through.
there hasn't been. I don't think there's been a 115. Kind of liking this pullback right here. Pull back to the 50. This move here came back 50%. Now, if I wanted to, I could do a buy limit or buy stop at the 23% line. So pull back to the 50. If it crosses over the 28.3% line and come up here for my target. So let me just do that. I'm in a demo account here right now. So I'm just using this to show some examples here. So for a buy stop at the 26 line, you right click and do a trading. And I can just click on the buy stop. Now, let me just get off it. Wherever I have my cursor at this point in time, as I have it right about here, and I right click, trading, and I could just go with the buy stop. And it's right there where my cursor was. I can pull this back down and say, okay, if it comes, right now the price is below. If it decides to push up, it's going to get me in and get me out pretty much right at the, and I'll modify this for a target of 7 pips. So if I'm at 05, I'm going to go for 38.12. So right now I've got both set. I've got a buy limit. If it comes back down here, I'm in. If it breaks out of here, it goes up, I'm in again. My target's going to be the same right here. I'd have a little bit more profit if I get in down here, but my target's going to be the same spot either case. And if it gets to be really aggressive, you might have an announcement. It comes back down here, get you in, get you out together, or it may get you push up to get your stop, enter your trade, take your first profit, comes back down and gets you in for another trade. And sometimes you can actually do that. You can actually have two trades set. Right now I've got two trades set. I have one. If it comes down here, I'm going to get out up here. If it comes on up through here, I'm going to get out, but I still have this other one pending. So right now I have two pending orders set. And neither one of them have triggered yet.
Marvin says that there's a sniper entry on this pair on the 1 minute and a W formation.
To go long on to go long on a W. Yeah, I tried that. I usually
go long, I'm assuming. I don't know.
I will look at a 1 minute chart if I'm trying to. Sometimes I'll look at the 1 minute chart when I do the. That's if I'm more in a scalping mood, just trying to go for. But I still like having the momentum off the higher time frames. You're more apt to. There's a 15 minute. We finally got a 15-minute New Zealand yen here. And we got some other Euro Aussie. 15-minute.
Didn't show up there, did it?
All right, so it's Euro Aussie 15-minute. Let me get some template on here. Load the template. Open. Here's my moving averages. They're in the right direction. My 200 moving average is way up here. So right now it's coming up into, we've got a crossover of this. It could very well challenge that one. Euro Aussie. I kind of like this one actually, although it's not a lot of room. 15-minute. Let's see how much room do we have to the upside? That's only 5 pips to the zone. Again, not enough. Now I do think it's going to probably come up and maybe retag this 200 moving average, which give us a little bit more range to the target. Euro Aussie, Euro Aussie, Euro Aussie just got weak. I'm going to take this trade. I'm just going to click on this and do a buy. I'm going to change it to a Euro Aussie. I'm going to put my 7 pip stop, 15 pip target, 15 stop, 7 pip target, click, click. And there it's set. I'm in for 7 pips. Now this white line has to get all the way up to this target, which means the red line is going to come up above the target before I'll get this thing filled. So if it comes up and the red line goes up here and starts having a hard time, then I'll just pull the trade and take my 5 pip profit. Right now the Euro Aussie has a 1.6 spread, 1.4. So you're going to need almost a 3.3 pip spread from where we wanted to get in. We lost 1.5 pips, and then it's going to have to go through another 1.5 pips in order to get the target.
Question for you, Al.
Yes.
To the extent that you do trade on Fridays, do you cut your trading day shorter than normal, given that the New York may not do much after lunch on a Friday?
Yeah, I usually try to be out of all my trades by on Fridays especially. I'm usually done trading by 11, 12 o'clock at the latest, generally on Friday, and then I just have taken it. I like having an early weekend, start my weekend early. And like I said, if normally if I have my profits for the week, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of times just kind of and I'll watch gearbox and variable. I'll see where the profits are, especially like with gearbox. If I'm close to getting out of trades or breaking even on some trades, I'll close those out a little bit early so I can start the next week fresh. Now that we've been in some drawdown in the gearbox for a while, but some of those trades are starting to come back and close out for us. So, but I try and be done by noon on Friday.
So do you normally hold over the weekends?
I generally do not hold manual trades over the weekend. Stock trades, yes. Forex, I rarely hold them overnight, let alone over the weekend. I will with gearbox. I will with variable. Those I just let the software do its thing. But for my manual trading, I rarely hold it over a weekend. If I do anything on Friday afternoons, a lot of times that's where I'm analyzing my trades for the week, seeing my performance, charting my performance week to week to see which, and actually I'll do like with variable and gearbox and arrow, I'll chart and see what my success rate is. How well do I do against one versus the other? And oftentimes I find out that the EAs are, a lot of times they win. Keeps the emotions out of it. I enjoy the manual trading. I enjoy the challenge of it. Try and be selective of which trades I take. Try and have as much odd enhancers on my side. You can see where this one, we already had this little point right here. It sort of challenged our 200 moving average. Came back down. Now the question is, will it challenge it again and break through? Or is it now making a lower high about to? Right now, there's a little bit of a wedge going on here. It doesn't have a strong rejection just yet. But if we look at the, if you look at the trend line, here's our trend. We did have a little bit of a rejection here, but if you look and see this point right, if we use this trend line right here, if you look right across here, that's the same level. That's what drew this line. So that's why I'll jump ball out. I'll use the one that's the most high, furthest to the right. So here's my anchor. Here's sort of like the first challenge, but didn't really break. I mean, actually we move it up here. There was actually, it broke, retest, now it's back up into the wedge. This was a little bit of a head fake right here. Came back down, broke through, came up. Your thing is going to go down, but you had this little zone right here. This was your head fake. This was a trap. So now this, and we have rejection of this point. We also have this high. We have this high over here to the left. Let me move this chart up. You see, from a higher time frame, we have this pivot high. We have this pivot high. From a trend line standpoint, this was yesterday's high. Here's the overnight high. And now we're back inside the wedge. If it can break through here, it's going to, but now you have this zone right here. It broke to the bottom, you have this zone right here. I like looking at the previous day's high. Here's the day breaks right here, these dashed lines. Here's yesterday's high. This was basically yesterday's low, which is right at the close of yesterday. And then we have the overnight, made a new high, made a new hit on the trend line. This was the significant hit. It broke this one, hit here. Now we have a trend. We don't have the third hit on the trend line. If this one comes up, this one may whipsaw us a little bit. If it breaks through this trend line right here, I'll be in the trade and it'll be out of the trade hopefully before it. And it may keep on going and say, well, that's just the way it is. but it also may get me to where by the time it breaks, it may just get me right into my target area. But I do like from here, here's the near hit, had a rejection. I'm going to move this thing down to here. So right now that's more my second hit. Now I'm waiting. As you see, it's starting to get tighter and tighter in this zone. And right now it's trading in between here and here, here to here, here to here. Eventually it's going to break. The closer it gets to this apex of this triangle, the more range you can have to a target. Right now it's still somewhat range bound. And let's see, then we have this British US. Let's take a look at that one again. See, this one, so far, we're not in anything yet. It's still sitting there going sideways. We're not in it long, we're not in it short. And if you look at this, here's the day breaks. If you look at the price action inside today's range, you basically have an engulfing candle of yesterday's price. If you look at this as being a one-day price, you have a higher high, you have lower lows, and this whole thing has just been engulfing. So the price action today means this thing's real bullish today. But this was a strong wake up, strong rejection. You have a little doji right here. It's where the buyers came in, drove it up, sellers came in, drove it down, and at the close of this 30-minute candle, this on 30-minute chart, the buyers and the sellers were at equilibrium. There was no distinction between the two. It looks like it's getting a little bit more strength. The dollar is starting to lose strength to the British pound. So this one, I favor to the upside. How are we doing time? It's almost 9. It's almost time to call it quits for the week.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Any last questions, comments? For those of you in the U.S., don't forget the F bar. I say if your account's less than, if you have a combined account, unless you have 3 accounts, whatever value the account reached through the course of 2020, that the highest level, called that the high water mark. If let's say you have 3 accounts and one was the highest point was 7,000, account number 2, the highest account was 3,000, and you have another account, the highest was even 1,000. Combined, that's over $10,000 you're required to file the FBAR report. So it's the highest level of each account, add them together, and that's if it's over $10,000. If you have just one account and you never had more than $10,000 in the account at any time throughout 2020, you're not required to file the report. I say most people probably have smaller accounts, but there are some people that have some pretty large accounts. It's not a big deal. They don't tax you on it. They don't charge you for it. They just want to know that you have them. They say it's for money laundering identification purposes. Right now, cryptos seem to be somewhat exempt from that, although that's probably going to change. And with that, well, we got a few more minutes. We'll go till 9 o'clock here. I think all in all for the Forex, I do think that the London session, sometimes you get some of the, I mean, you get some really big moves in the New York session too. A lot depends on what the pair is. So, but if you're only going for, 7 pips, you can trade successfully in either pair, either session. And all you need is really five pips a day, 7 pips a day. And it can make you, all you need is one good trade a day, and you can get that on either session. It just depends on how greedy you want to be, or how much you want to make, or how much you want to risk.
Excuse me, Al.
Yes.
As a final question, Sandy has a question. The on strategies 3 and 4, okay, which are the Asian breakout. Excuse me. I'm sorry, I got something in my throat. The Asian breakout, and the 4th is the London breakout. Okay. Is it still considered, for all the pairs, the pound, it's both of them are for the pound pairs, basically, all 6 pound pairs on those 2 strategies?
I'm not sure it's limited to the specific pairs. I just know that when my understanding is that now with the Asian breakout, basically what we have, I'll just go through this real quick, is you have your money zone, and you have your the highest body and the lowest body. You have a range, and the first price to break that range here's the bodies of the high candles. Here's the new session. Here's the Asian session. Here's the London session. I'm not sure about the London breakout versus Asian breakout. I'm not so sure if I have to revisit that again. I do know that here's the money zone, here's the high, and you look over here to see where did it break out. So once it breaks this line inside the money zone or at the money zone, this would be the breakout. This would be the move. When this thing came down, broke through this range, that was your trade, and then you go for 20 pips. So if you got in somewhere here, 20 pips, there's 34 pips. If you and let's see, what time frame am I on here? I'm on the 15-minute. I'm not sure exactly if you would wait till that candle close. I think you can just, once it breaks out, I think you can take the trade. But even if you got in at the close of this, you still would have gotten your 20 pips to that side. And then also as you get the breakout to the upside, here's the breakout. Now it's moving up. Do we have 20 pips to the upside? As far as the London breakout or Asian breakout, I have to revisit that. This is the only one I know about. This is the Asian session, the overnight high, overnight low of the Asian session, money zone breakout from that session. I don't know if that answers your question. Pairs that start with the Asian breakout is for pairs that start with GP. I didn't know that. I'll have to double check that. Asian and London session breakout is the same. Okay. It may just depend on which pairs. I know the original pairs that Nate was trading during this London session was pretty much the British pairs. Okay, we did get our buy stop hit. And so we're going to make sure our stop and target are in place. Modify the target is already there. I'm going to put the stop in, modify that. And we'll see what happens. So with that, we're at our time. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for being here. We love having you. We love the questions. Didn't get a lot of trades today, but we'll see what happens with this one on this little buy stop breakout here. And with that, have a safe weekend, stay safe, and see you on Monday. Same time, 7:30, Monday through Friday. We'll see you then.